First and foremost, I feel and believe that WBNA, in as much as they have accomplished an awful lot of things in our community, in this neighborhood, we need to have them be like David Stubbe, be in it to win it. And what I mean by that is, in order to be heard, you need to be present. At the General Assembly, you have to be there. You cannot only depend on one individual that's representing this neighborhood in order to make things happen. So I asked the WBNA to step up, step out, and come and show your interest, not just by me fighting for you, but being there with me fighting for all of us.
Mr. Aiello.
So yeah, this is a really important issue, and we've heard some of the mayor candidates speak and the city council candidates speak about this. This is going to require an effort on each level of government to do that. I have a plan to solve our affordability crisis. It involves primarily incentivizing the construction of new housing at every level. Affordable housing, middle-income housing. We need a lot more housing. We need 40,000 new units of housing in this state.
But I'm low income.
Yeah. Absolutely low income, every level. We need 40,000 new units of income in our state just to meet what the expected demand is. I set a goal at the beginning of this campaign to meet that, and you can check out my plan at nickaudiello.com/housing. It's all there, and I am excited to work with everyone in the WBNA to mobilize everyone to get up at the State House and pass the multiple bills that we need to solve every part of this problem.
Mr. Bell.
For years, every politician in Rhode Island has talked about how we need to create more affordable housing, but no one has ever said how we actually pay for the large volume of affordable housing that we need to create, which is why I am calling for taking all the money that we are currently spending on subsidies for luxury housing and reinvesting it in affordable housing. And that does mean taking affordable housing off of the normal budgetary process and making it an off-budget expenditure as economic development, as has been done successfully in just about every blue city and democratic state around the country that has done this right. This is a real area of difference between me and Jabor. I strongly disagree with that bill he co-sponsored that forces Providence to subsidize all that luxury housing on the I-195 land by letting the I-195 Commission spend our Providence taxpayer money on 15 and 20-year tax breaks that have almost all gone to luxury housing. And to give a concrete example, if you look at the Fane Tower, the city gets to vote on the zoning, but because of that law, the city has no say over whether it gets a 20-year tax break.
And we're at time. Senator Jabor.
I think the issue of affordability is being addressed. Both of my opponents have tried to raise that in this election. If we look around this neighborhood, let's talk about our district. We have put 250 new housing units in this district alone. That is in corroboration with the Rhode Island Housing Corporation, One Builders, and partnerships. And if you go through Oneyville, Manton, and some of the distressed areas, you will see that there is affordable housing there. Now, do we have to do more? Absolutely. But for someone to stand here tonight and tell you that I've given breaks to Mr. Fane, that is completely false. General Assembly provided any breaks to Mr. Fane. Mr. Fane's getting no tax breaks from the state of Rhode Island. Mr. Fane only is allowed to come to the city of Providence and go to the zoning board and ask for permission to build that tower. That's the only right that he's been given by the General Assembly. So once again, both of my opponents have distorted my record on that issue. Thank you.
And Mr. Keys.
So in August of 2015, Rhode Island released a report called Rhode Island's Impediments to Fair Housing. One of the major issues that was already reflected in that report that we've already admitted is that Providence, along with maybe 4 to 5 other cities, is the only ones that are meeting or exceeding its minimum participatory goal of having 10% of its housing stock dedicated to affordable housing or low-income housing as well. So one of the things that we need to do is make sure we're updating existing housing and zoning laws that reflect and make sure that we add in the legislation to basically enforce and make sure that the cities and towns are being held accountable is making sure that they're given what they need so that they can meet their minimum fair share, 10% of their affordable housing stock dedicated to housing. Another thing is looking at creating, in terms of housing funding, similar to Section 8, but on a statewide level for those who don't qualify for Section 8, but also need to be able to pay that rent, and maybe that's a subsidy we can look at for those who are working, but yet are not in that area where they afford for federal benefits.